We are Black Horse. We are Florida.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the nation's capital. A short 4-game road trip for the Miami Marlins, taking on the Washington Nationals here in D.C. on a nice, warm summer night here in Washington, D.C. inside the broadcast booth. Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. Well, there's some roster moves going around the Miami Marlins, and one of them, and we'll get into all of them a little bit later, is Martine Prado. He is back from the disabled list, had that hamstring injury, back and playing third base tonight. Certainly a positive add to this roster.
Well, certainly excited to see him back. Obviously, what he brings to the table, the veteran leadership, the experience, the veteran bat, how about it? And he was heating up before he got hurt, so hopefully he picks up where he left off, but he's right there in the lineup today, getting the start over at third base, so excited for him, and I'll tell you, this offense has been rolling. You'd like to see Martine kind of fit right in and kind of help it keep going.
Yeah, and pick up exactly where he left off. He had been struggling and then started to turn things around right before he got banged up, and boy, oh boy, did he ever handle that like a pro, a guy who's dealt with some injuries, and talking to a guy who's been dealing with some injuries as well. And this Nationals team on the whole has really been under the weather, as they just have really had a tough time. The last time we saw them, and then
where they make up that ground, and I think there's a lot of people here in D.C. that really believe that, you know what, if we're going to get the season turned around, maybe the Marlins is the team that we're going to do it against, because we've kind of had their number lately.
Yeah, won 11 straight against the Marlins, but Miami's been playing some pretty good baseball. They've won 6 of the last 9 series and look to keep it rolling as Pablo Lopez makes his second major league start. First pitch coming up after the break. 4 between the Marlins and Nationals, a team that haven't seen much of so far this season, and that means one thing: see a lot of them in the second half. And again, as we just mentioned a moment ago, the Marlins have not been in the win column against the Nationals for quite a while. However, the way the Nationals have been playing, maybe today is the day. An 89-degree day with a little bit of a breeze and a partly cloudy night here in the nation's capital. A great night for baseball. And again, first of 4, just a quick reminder, Saturday night's game exclusively on Fox. So Holly and I have you covered for tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday afternoon. But in the meantime, let's give you the Marlins starting lineup. It is presented to you by Southwest. A little bit of a change from the original lineup. JT Riddle had 3 hits yesterday, including a home run, accounted for all 3 of the Marlins' runs, was in the original starting lineup. He no longer is. He had a slide yesterday, kind of banged up his hip a little bit, gutted it out, but woke up this morning and stiffened up on him, so he is out of the lineup. Yadiel Rivera is in there, and he is in the number 8 spot, and he will play shortstop tonight. That is the lineup that will face Jeremy Hellickson. 13th career start against the Marlins and first since May of last year.
That's right. So it's his first start against the Marlins here in 2018. In his career, 71-70 with a 4.06 ERA. You see the 2.63 ERA this season. He's been doing a fantastic job for the Nats. The idea is less is more. You'll get into, well, you'll figure out what I mean by that as we get into the ball game. 6'1", 190 pounds, 31 years old. This is also his second start back from the disabled list. He tweaked that hamstring, right hamstring strain. So, see what Hellickson's got for tonight. Here's the Nationals defensively for the game tonight. Soto in left, Taylor in center, Harper in right, Rendon, Turner, Murphy. He started second base. Adams, boy oh boy, he's been a hot bat in this Nats lineup, and Severino, not Paul, behind the plate.
Yeah,
Paul's actually next to him.
But it is P. Severino. So I mean, if I had a non-Marlin rooting interest tonight, it's my very, very distant, not even related cousin, Pedro Severino.
You guys look a lot alike.
That's right. Oh, our athletic abilities are just totally on par with one another too. That's exactly it.
Sure. Yeah, exactly right. You have the same pop time.
I'll eat a Pop-Tart every once in a while. I don't know if that counts at all. And that's the youngster Juan Soto out there. Boy, it'll be fun to watch him just as a burgeoning youngster in this game. In terms of Hellickson, a guy who has certainly been around the block a little bit.
Yeah, let's follow up. Go ahead and give you the Autonation scouting report. We got a few minutes here early on. Familiar foe, you mentioned it. He's making his 13th career start versus the Marlins. That's 4th most against any opponent in his career. How about a 2.88 ERA? So he's had some success. Now, low zone. Pay attention to this. Tonight, 28 of the 38 strikeouts have come at the knees or below. He's had a tremendous changeup throughout his career. 45% of those strikeouts in his career have been on the changeup, but this season a little bit different. He's been using the curveball a little bit more, and keep an eye on the pitch count. If the Marlins can get it up, they can get him out. Here's where I'm going with this. They do not like Hellickson going through that lineup a third time. They get him out there almost as quickly as possible. In fact, his last start, only 4 2/3.
And tonight, just heard this a little while ago. Apparently he's been a little bit under the weather as of late, so just showed you about a 90-degree night. Maybe it's a situation where he doesn't work deep into this game as well. We'll see what sort of electrolytes or other sort of things that he took to kind of stay healthy.
Well, it's also an interesting dynamic because this Nationals team had to deal with a short start yesterday. In fact, 8 bullpen innings. The starter was not able to go long. Hellickson has some unfavorable numbers late in games. 474 batting average, pitches 76 through 100. It's quite often. Well, that's why I would tell you right now, guess what? He hasn't thrown 100 pitches yet this season.
Yeah. Ball and a strike to Derek Dietrich. 2 for 11 with a home run against Washington so far this season. It takes Lowen in there, 2-1. Yesterday was 0 for 4. On the homestand, 6 hits and 34 trips, but did score 5 runs on that 10-game homestand. Diamondbacks, Mets, and Rays, and now a short 4-game road trip. This one is hit past the dive of Daniel Murphy and into right field. A leadoff base hit for Dietrich here in the first.
A good swing in a hitter's count. Look at that little sinker there at the knees. Time and time again, you're going to see Hellickson down all day long. A couple of the things that stand out. Last year, he really struggled with the long ball, and this is why he works the low zone so much, Paul. 35 home runs allowed last year in 164 innings. This season, 5 homers in 48 innings.
Brian Anderson takes outside, 3 for 11, 2 RBIs against Washington in 2018. 0 for 3 yesterday, and this has been one of the most consistent hitters for the Marlins this season, which kind of makes it stand out that maybe this is the first prolonged slump, and I'm saying that it's even been less than 2 weeks. He's on the homestand. He was just 7 for 39, but again, that still speaks to how consistent he has been all year, that he's been going through a rough couple of weeks and he's still hitting 280.
Well, he still takes his walks. I think back a couple games he had a big walk late in the game after going 0 for 4. It's about his approach. Brian Anderson will get it figured out through here in July, through July 4th, 063. But nothing to worry about. This is part of the process. You learn how to be an everyday player by going through struggles. I say this all the time at the major league level. Struggles are what make you better if you can survive them. And Anderson's done a great job. His temperament hasn't changed. You don't see him frustrated in batting practice or working any less. He comes to the yard every day ready to go. So we know he'll get out of it.
And he did have a home run and 5 RBIs in the homestand as well. So still impacting games even if he's not going 3 for 4 every night. But he, along with Juan Soto, 2 of the premier rookies in the National League right now, certainly are, and if they aren't, should be in the discussion for National League Rookie of the Year. Soto's still a teenager. Another check on Dietrich over at first.
You mentioned the struggles. It's, the position that the Marlins are in right now as he's kind of fighting his way through it, or even as we kind of creep up on the All-Star break. And, oh, by the way, the Marlins in a stretch of consecutive games. No chance to give Anderson a blow.
Runner goes. This one is chopped to short. No play at second for Turner. Gets it to Adams to retire Anderson. And with the runner in motion, in all likelihood, the Marlins stay out of the double play.
Well, you have to add up all the ingredients to understand it. Good to see Dietrich moving and on the run. So he's okay, kind of going behind that right knee. And the reason is this. Listen, they hit a lot of ground balls. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. The Marlins have grounded into more outs this season than anybody in baseball. You've got a guy who, as I just told you, has been working that low zone, is probably, well, he is, in fact, producing his best ground ball rate of his career. Put guys in motion when you get guys on.
Now JT Realmuto, 5 for 13 with an RBI against Washington so far this year. Hitting .306 overall. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Got yesterday off, played all 16 innings the night prior in the loss to the Tampa Bay Rays. However, did play the last inning or 2 at first base. An opportunity after a long night game and a day game the next day to give JT a little bit of a break. We hope we have 5 hours left or something like that, that maybe JT Realmuto comes back to Washington, D.C. for a night, for the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you made right there. I know you're just kind of kidding with everybody, but I've been asked an awful lot of questions about JT as we pulled into D.C. last night.
Yeah, a lot of headlines around.
Hey, what's going on with the JT Realmuto? Your catcher's playing like an all-star. Yeah, our we have like the lowest combined OPS with our catchers.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
set to see a 2-1 from Hellickson that misses inside.
JT riding an 11-game hitting streak. Very well on the road this year, .311.
Now the 3-1 is hit out to center field. Taylor started to his right and then backs up to the edge of the track. Dietrich will tag from second and advance on the fly ball from Real Muto. 2 away. Just looking at Taylor's first step, that ball kept carrying.
Yeah, it certainly did. Almost all the way out to the warning track. Nice job by Dietrich tagging, getting over to third base. I like when you put pressure on the mound, even if you're the last runner or the only runner on base. You got a runner on third. You got Hellickson who throws the ball down in the zone. You get them to think twice about a wild pitch or a pitch selection down in the zone. Nice job there.
There's Justin Bohr. One of his 13 home runs this year against the Washington Nationals. Nice job there by Severino to slide over. And we have also heard and read leading up to this series that part of the struggles for the Nationals has been those little things.
Yeah.
Just what you were talking about. Runner at third, 2 outs. Big run. I mean, it was the first inning, but generally speaking, where maybe sometimes
wild pitch shows up at the wrong time. Yeah. Pass ball happens. Ball gets thrown. You know, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've heard it on a lot of different levels since we got here.
Just those little effort things, or base running has kind of been a little bit
well,
of an issue.
The best way to put it is things that teams who are supposed to be in first place don't do. And I think most people around baseball look at this Nationals team and see a team that is more talented offensively, more talented in the bullpen, definitely more talented in the rotation, trying to figure out why in the world they're a game under 500.
Right. First year skipper Dave Martinez. This team has lost 16 of 24 games to fall a game under. As Bohr takes a strike on the inside corner.
How about this? They're 19 and 23 at Nats Park. 19 and 23. 4 games under 500. Five and a half games behind the Phillies at the start of the day. 7 games behind the Braves, who are in first place in the East.
And Bohr works the walk to set up first and third. That doesn't happen very often. Just the 9th walk this year issued by Jeremy Hellickson.
Huh. I was like, wait a minute, were we talking about the same guy? I thought you were talking about
right.
Bohr.
Let's look at the other side of the. One guy walks all the time. One guy never issues
right.
walks.
Well, something had to give.
Yeah. Yeah. Only of this now his 11th start of the season. Hellickson has walked more than one time, for a grand total of 2 in a start against the Dodgers on the 22nd of April. Everything else, 1 or no walks. And here is Martine Prado back off the disabled list. Just started to heat up before going down with that hamstring injury. He takes a strike in the outside corner.
Now, you always like to get you guys back off the disabled list, particularly against an opponent you've got good numbers and good history with, and the Marlins have done that with Prado. 59 career extra base hits against the Nats, most versus any opponent.
This one to third, and it's bobbled there by Rendon, and a run will score.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good example of just about everything we've talked about already. Wouldn't you agree? Here with 2 outs?
Just sometimes the little things.
Yeah, there's the little things right there. That happens at the front end of an inning. It might be an extra base runner. It happens with runners on first and third and 2 outs. It's a run. Marlins take the lead on the Rendon error.
So Prado, obviously, with the error, doesn't get credit for a hit. 6 for 20. Now 6 for 21. It's his last 21 at-bats. As I said before, hitting now just a shade under 300, and he was heating up slowly but surely. He thought, all right, well, he's getting his timing back. He's starting to hit the ball the other way a little bit, which he has done so much and so well throughout his career. And then all of a sudden, he's busting it down the line and comes up a little lame, and it's a hamstring strain for him, but works his way back. Here he is, and it's 1-0 Marlins as Cameron Maben, tonight's starting center fielder, takes ball 1.
You mentioned it. You remember the day he got hurt, May 25th. He had gone. He had pinch hit the day before and then had a day off. 4 for his last 5 before getting hurt. A couple of doubles.
So Maben the start in center with, speaking of the DL, Lewis Brinson on the disabled list. Little hip inflammation. Hurt himself in Colorado and has kind of nagged him for a little while, as now Rendon makes the diving play. They go to second to get Prado. Sharply hit ball to the left side off the bat of Maben, but Rendon makes up for the error, but the Marlins have a 1-0 lead. Major league start has a 1-0 lead to work with as we head to the home half of the first inning. A young man who has been on a bit of a roll as of late. Dive into his numbers in just a sec, but first we take a look at the Nationals starting lineup presented to you by Southwest. Trey Turner at the top. Juan Soto, one of the premier rookies in the game, hits second. Anthony Rendon, who made an error and a nice play defensively in that first inning, hits right ahead of Bryce Harper, who is currently the leading vote getter to represent the Nationals and represent the National League right here at home in a few weeks in the All-Star game. And then there's Pablo Lopez coming off his first big league start.
Yep, 6 innings, 6 hits, a couple of earned runs, both on home runs.
There's Prado at third on the backhand to retire Turner, one away.
Prado is passing all tests. Had to hustle down the line, get to first base, first time up, ground ball to the backhand, up, strong throw across the diamond to get the speedy Turner. Yeah, that's the cruelty of baseball. I tell you, whenever you hurt yourself, you do something, it always finds you. It always comes back to get you right out of the gate. So Prado passing all tests so far.
Well, he gets, Lopez does, the first batter faced on 2 pitches. He had struck out Brandon Nimmo on 3 pitches before giving up a home run to Jose Bautista, his first 2 batters in his first start. But other than that, I think we were all pretty impressed with the young man.
Yeah, here's some more details about that start. You see his numbers over on the right-hand side. 97 pitches in that last start, 71 strikes, pounded the strike zone. They said did give up a couple of home runs, both on the sinker to Bautista and Frazier. But how about this? Faced 25 batters. He only threw 26 balls. My goodness. It also speaks to the poise and the confidence this young man has. Got 9 ground outs, only 3 flyouts. Lefties were 1 for 10, righties for 5 for 13. So keep an eye on that tonight.
We also noticed that he generally works pretty quick too, of course, when there's no runners on base, but a good rhythm as he gets it and already back on the rubber getting the sign. 8 homers and 21 RBIs in 40 games for Juan Soto. This one chopped to Bohr at first, flipped to Lopez in plenty of time, and there are 2 away.
Well, 2 ground ball outs so far. Good start. Tonight's ball game against the Marlins defensively for tonight's game. Dietrich gets the start in left. Maven in center. I'm anticipating a few more starts for him here in the next few days. Anderson over at right. Prado making his 24th start at third base. Riddle, Rojas, Bohr, and Real Muto. Nice job by JB over at first base. I would like to. I was taught this way, and I always love to see it when JB gets rid of that ball on that ground ball to the right side where the pitcher has to cover. He gets rid of that ball early, so good to see. I think I gave you the old version of the lineup. Yadi Rivera in. Riddle is not playing short tonight. Excuse me. Changed everything but my notes. See right here. Still got Riddle in there. He's got to come out.
Well, you got whiteout now.
It's true.
Tons of it.
Whiteout works on all colors. There we go. Yadi, you're in the game.
Just like that. Well, so is Rendon. We've already seen him. An error in the first inning and also a nice defensive play at third, and now lines one foul down the left field line. Kind of a tale of 2 seasons for Anthony Rendon. If you look at his numbers through the 14th of June, he's hitting .254. Not great, not horrible. But from June 15th to now, hitting .368 in those 19 games. Down to the count 1-2 here.
Rendon, good numbers against the Marlins that first series early on. 5 for 11 with a home run.
One for 4 yesterday, 3 for 14 on the homestand for the Washington Nationals. Just had the Red Sox in town, and boy, they got a little bit beat up by Boston. They've been beat up quite a bit. But nobody beats up Lopez in the first. He sets him down 1-2-3. At Nationals Park. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Bottom third of the order for Miami: Miguel Rojas, Yadiel Rivera, and Pablo Lopez. against Jeremy Hellickson here in the second. Hellickson's first pitch a little low. This is the home plate umpire John Tumpain. Mike DeMiro at first. Mark Wegner is at second, and Jim Reynolds is the umpire at third. And a strike to Miggy.
Notice from Hellickson already here, batter in the second, but we did see it in the first inning, that curveball. I told you about it. He's been picking up a few more strikeouts with it this year. His go-to pitch, his go-to secondary pitch in his career has really been the changeup. Now we've seen it a couple of times, but he really wants to kind of work that curveball back in.
On the ground to Turner at short. Now Hellickson again did miss time on the disabled list. His last start was against one of his former teams, the Philadelphia Phillies. Spent a couple of seasons with them. But he was pitching very well before that. He had a 2.28 ERA and 9 starts prior to going on the disabled list.
I thought it was interesting, that last start you just mentioned it, 31 curveballs. So, now listen, they've found a way, the Nationals have found a way to make Hellickson really productive, and I think less is more. That's the idea here. You see his career numbers. He's had some nice stretches, some really nice stretches where he's dominated. The inability to do it consistently and to do it in that idea of, well, can he give us 6 solid innings? Well, you know, maybe that third time through is not the place to go when it comes to Hellickson, but bottom line is 18, 21 batters, he's pretty good. Not too many times where you say he's got a 2.63 ERA on the season in 10 starts and he's only got 1 quality start.
Right.
He doesn't qualify half the time. He's only gone 6 innings once.
Did win a Rookie of the Year award with the Tampa Bay Rays back in 2011. And a Gold Glove the following year. 1-2 to Yadiel Rivera. Yadi get bumped into the starting lineup. JT Riddle woke up with a bit of a stiff hip, tried to work it out today. They're going to continue to work on him through the game in case JT is needed later. Offensively, defensively, going to try to see what he might be able to give him tonight. Lefty Gio Gonzalez tomorrow, so in all likelihood would get tomorrow off. So if he's needed, I'm sure Donnie would try to use him. But if he doesn't need to use him, the benefit of a couple of days off may fare pretty well for him. Slow roller over the mound, and Murphy can't come up with it. An infield single for Rivera.
Gets himself a breaking ball, kind of chops it out in front of home, but in order to get an opportunity here to get this infield hit, you got to get it over Hellickson's head. He did. Puts the middle infielders in a spot where it's do or die. Murphy unable to come up with the bare hand.
Just the third start of the year at second base for Daniel Murphy. Missed a lot of time and some knee issues that he was working his way back from. He's made 10 starts at first base, DH when the Nationals have been in American League cities. This one popped up and right into the glove of Rendon.
Hellickson climbed up high trying to get Lopez to pop that up exactly as he was planning to do. Technique, you want to stay above, go to the top. You start at the top of your strike zone, flex your knees and work your way down. You certainly don't want to rise up. If you do, if you tend to rise up when you're bunting, you'll pop it up.
Derek Dietrich takes low for ball 1. Dietrich singled and scored in the first inning. Came in on the Rendon error at third off the bat of Martine Prado to get the Marlins on the board. 1 on and 2 out here in inning number 2. And about that last start for Hellickson, also said that everything felt good with the hamstring and all things related to it, but just had a bit of an issue with the command in that start. And today, 34 pitches, 17 balls, 17 strikes. To left field, a base hit for Dietrich. He's 2 for 2.
That bat starting to heat back up again. Good to see Double D. Base hit to right, base hit to left.
His 24th multi-hit game of the year. His career high, 26.
Good game planning there against the sinker. Those hands led with the knob, lined it to left.
26 multi-hit games in 2016 and 17. And now already with 24. He's the guy who leads the team in multi-hit games along with Starlin Castro. Brian Anderson would take strike one. Anderson would ground out to short in his first trip.
Dietrich, once he gets a pretty good rhythm on a guy, he really loves to attack. See that last pitch. 446 batting average on the first or second pitch of an at-bat. No surprise there. He lined one to left.
That got Anderson. Right off the side of the knee.
He is jogging to first base as we speak. Good signs.
So that will load him up for JT Realmuto.
Big moment in this ball game. The second opportunity.
The umpire, John Tumpain, asking Hellickson if he's going to go with a full windup or not. Looks like he'll work out of the stretch here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. One hit down the right field line, but into the seats. 0-1. A fly out to center field in the first inning for JT. As you take a look at the base runners, StatCast powered by AWS. Rivera, Dietrich, and Anderson. The runners third to first.
That's playing JT straight up in the outfield.
Rivera got on an infield single. Dietrich with the second hit of the night, and Anderson was hit by a pitch. And now 1-2. Check that 1-1 rather to JT, who lines up base hit up the middle. That will score 1. Taylor comes up throwing from center field. The throw not in time. A 2-run single for JT Realmuto, and the Marlins have a 3-0 lead.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, it is so impressive to watch JT Realmuto hit with runners in scoring position. I can't help but think even the game plan against Hellickson today, we talked about sinkers, we talked about changeups and curveballs. And what is he thinking once again? Right up the middle. He wasn't out trying to pull that baseball. He was going to stay inside it, and does just that. Great swing, great result. 2 more runs for the Marlins.
Now looking for even more with Justin Bour, who walked in the first inning. Well, this Nationals team, again, is already down 3-0. A team ERA since June 8th, which is major league worst at 5.28. As I mentioned before, in that span, they have lost 18 of 24 games. Bour pops this one up behind home plate, but into the seats. 0-1. We had a team meeting after yesterday's game. This Max Scherzer, from all reports, was kind of the most vocal.
Trey Turner had a great comment. It's do or die now. How about that? About halfway through a season. I certainly understand it. You got to play with urgency. You look around the room and you realize how many stars are on this roster. Expectations are high. Clock is ticking.
And Bohr, a base hit into right field. Anderson getting waved around. Harper's throw goes to third. It's a little off the mark. Real Muto is safe, and Bohr drives in the fourth Marlins run.
Now gets a ball up, rips it into right. Anderson doing okay after the hit by pitch. He scores it standing up. JT all the way over to third. This inning is not over yet. Opportunity for more as they've added 3. Up 4-0.
Pitching coach Derek Lilliquist out to talk with Hellickson. The entire infield on the mound as well. Not making excuses for Hellickson, but just to reiterate, heard a report earlier that Dave Martinez, when he met with the media earlier today, said that Hellickson has been a little under the weather, so they weren't quite sure how long he'd go. Here's the thing, they said he was under the weather before he gave up 4 runs, so it's not like, you know, guy gives up some runs, then you hear afterwards, well, he wasn't feeling great, and it sounds like an excuse.
3 starts prior to tonight at Nats Park, 165 ERA. There's no doubt he is struggling with his command this evening.
First and third for Prado. Takes a strike. Prado had a ground ball to third in the first inning, got through the legs of Anthony Rendon, allowed the Marlins to score a run. They have added 3 so far here in the second. Now this one driven down the left field line and off the foul pole. Welcome back, Martine Prado. A 3-run home run. It's 7-0 Marlins.
Oh my, oh my. Welcome back, Martine Prado. Well, we mentioned it. Certainly, I think you and I were probably begging for it a little bit. As hot as he got right there towards the end, right before he got hurt. And I found that stroke. Well, looks like Martine Prado might just be okay after all. How about this? Great extension and kept it fair. Hits the foul pole.
Deep in there, baby. Get deep into it.
You know I love talking about this. 6 2-out RBIs this inning. All with 2 outs this rally.
Excellent job here by the Marlins, as they have put 6 on the board in inning number 2. For Prado, creeping up on 100 career home runs. Number 98, a 3-run shot. There's the 0-1 to Cameron Maben on the edge. 0-2.
I think we're tied.
Are we tied?
Yeah.
Oh, you and him with the home runs. I was like, I just said it was 7-0.
No, I think I hit like 98 homers in my career. I heard you said, I'm like, oh, wow, I guess we're tied.
I didn't know if the Nationals scored a touchdown I didn't know about. Real quick.
There you go. They have not put up 7 yet.
That's true. That's true. I will say, though, that has got to feel good for Martine.
Oh, I tell you, listen, you get back, you get those opening day butterflies. You have them. You're excited to be back. Everybody else is in the rhythm of the season.
Maben strikes out. Dry cheers here in D.C. A 6-run frame for the Marlins. JT Realmuto with a base hit up the middle. That scored a couple. Bohr with a knock. That scored 1, and then the big blow. Prado, a 3-run shot. First home run since last April, a 3-run shot to open up a 7-0 Marlins lead, as Bryce Harper will lead things off, followed by Matt Adams and Daniel Murphy. And now the youngster Pablo Lopez has a little bit of wiggle room, safe to say, as Harper fouls this one back, and it's 1-1.
Well, I think for Lopez, that's the mind frame anyway. He's attacked the strike zone. He's not backing down. He certainly hasn't shown us any reason to not do that. He did it his last time out. A bit of a closer ball game. This would only promote it.
This is outside to Harper, 2-1. Harper, a home run and 4 RBIs against the Marlins this year. He has 21 homers and 50 RBIs, but for one reason or another, for better or worse, the thing that's been getting a lot of the headlines is the .215 batting average for Harper. Of course, this is his last year of under contract with the Washington Nationals. There have been a lot of questions about Manny Machado and whether or not he would be dealt from the Orioles. I've heard the beginnings of some rumblings with the way the Nationals have been playing, but I would venture to guess that when it comes to the chat around Harper, that one just misses. That I want to derail where I was going.
I know, I'm sorry.
Because of the
I get worked up on the strike zone.
questionable strike ball call there. This one is sent out to left center field. Maben is back, as is Dietrich on the track, makes the catch.
Please join us for Salute and Serve, presented by Tipped on July 9th, as we invite those who serve to join us for a ball game. Active and retired U.S. military personnel, veterans, firemen, and police officers receive 2 complimentary tickets when showing their official service IDs at the center field entrance at Marlins Park. More information, visit marlins.com/offers.
Matt Adams offers at the first pitch. Lines went out to left, and that will fall in front of Dietrich. Gets by him a little bit, but not far enough for Adams to advance past first base on the 1-out single.
Yeah, this is the one that's always the toughest. Lefty going down that left field line. There's going to be an awful lot of spin on the ball. Stayed inside it. Dietrich was contending with it. That's why it got by. Good job recovering. Adams just back off the disabled list a few days ago.
Now Daniel Murphy, who's also spent some time on the DL this year. Just his 20th game as he takes low. Anyway, to finish that point on Harper, and I'm not trying to get him traded from here. I think where it stands right now, there's still a little less than half the season to be played. And this team certainly built to win this year. 2% of the people say maybe he leaves town. The point is, this team, as it's currently constituted, is likely the one that's going to hopefully get back in to the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
Unless they make some moves to bring guys in as opposed to subtract.
Right. No, it's hard for me to believe. I mean, they've seemed like this organization's been all in for quite some time. Even the moves they've made this winter, the idea of bringing Soto up. I mean, these are right answers. These are win now answers. I'll tell you what, we got to get some things turned around and some things cleaned up. And it's not just all on him. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I think Murphy, I was just getting ready to go down the Murphy path. I mean, Murphy has been nothing but an all-star literally over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And they're just nursing him back to health.
That's Rojas, Rivera, and Bohr on the 4-6-3 double play. Lopez gets the ground ball he needed to get out of a tiny bit of trouble in the inning. 4-6-3, 7-0. 6 runs in the second inning. And he'll face Miguel Rojas to lead things off. The same man who led off the second inning after the Marlins scored 6 runs on 6 hits, including the 3-run homer for Martine Prado. Rojas, Rivera, and Lopez. And that's a line drive base hit. The 7th hit of the game for the Marlins.
6 of them were singles. Nice approach here on a changeup. Fall off the table nearly as much. Kind of came in at the knees, not nearly the depth. Nice swing by Rojas. It's the first hit of the night.
Nobody up yet for the Nationals in their bullpen. And you know, Holly, you mentioned it before yesterday with Eric Fetty leaving the game after throwing 1 inning. Shoulder inflammation, placed on the disabled list. They had to get 8 innings out of their bullpen. Grace gave them 4, and then they had to piecemeal the rest of the way. But you go back, what, 2 days ago? Tanner Roark gave up 9 runs in 7 innings of work. Like their starting pitching just has not done, outside of Scherzer, what you figured coming into the season they were supposed to be doing.
Some struggles have hit at the wrong time for a few individuals in the rotation. There's no doubt about it. But you're taxing the bullpen as well. And on top of that, I've continued to make the point. I think you understand what I'm talking about. Like, the Marlins oddly have an advantage. Like when we talk about bullpen uses, just by the way that they choose to use it, and other teams sometimes get stuck. Like when you have a contender. So let me finish my thought. When you've got a bullpen, whatever your number is that you carry in your bullpen, and you've got guys with tons of experience and closers and multi-year deals and contracts and millions of dollars, you can't send those guys to AAA.
Right.
They don't come back up and down. So when you get into a stretch where you've got 3 or 4 games and you're using your bullpen heavy, you've got to find a way around it. That's where the conversation flips back around, and you say, we need a starter to give us 8 innings today. It's a little bit more of an old school conversation. And again, the Marlins do it a little differently. You know, we talk about sometimes that shuttle where guys have come in and pitched 80 pitches out of the bullpen, and then another arm might come back up the following day. Teams like the Nationals can't do that.
Well, we'll see. Just 55 pitches to this point, and already 7 runs on the board against Hellickson. They're down to the count of 1-2 strikes with Rojas off of first. Chopped, foul. Again, a 1-2 pitch, and this one is hit to short. Turner to Murphy, but Rivera beats it out. The fielder's choice, 1 away. That'll bring up Pablo Lopez. We'll see if he can get the bunt down this time, assuming that's the play. Popped up his bunt in the second, right in the glove of Rendon. However, the Marlins still scored 6 in the inning. He squares early. Here's the pitch, and he offered. Rendon creeps in as Lopez pulls back, and now it's 0-2.
Now, one thing you don't practice, Paul, is practicing breaking balls.
That's true.
You don't see too much of it. That's Hellickson done here. He's throwing 2 curveballs to start the at-bat. Most young pitchers who are given a bat, told to square around and practice your bunt. You bunt fastballs.
He bunts through that one for the second out in the inning. Well, we're just talking about the Nationals bullpen and the way that it's constructed. On the Marlins side of things, some bullpen news today. These are all of the roster moves. Martine Prado, of course, is up. The corresponding move there. J.B. Shuck designated for assignment. And Tehran Guerrero placed on the 10-day disabled list. Left lumbar strain, retroactive a couple of days. So Ben Meyer back from AAA New Orleans. So again, that's the benefit of the shuttle, as they say.
Roster flexibility. Changes. Get to that plateau, that position of expectation, and that's certainly where everybody's working towards. But again, you see how, teams that are put themselves together with the idea of a championship and of winning their division look like. Generally, you have veterans in your bullpen, offensively, starting staff, and a lot of times the flexibility with that roster doesn't come right along with it. Marlins fans have definitely picked up on this, the number of extra inning games that the Marlins have played this year. Seeing some of the moves after those games.
Right.
Other teams can't do that.
A 16-inning game a couple of days ago, and all of this in the midst of 20 straight games. Smothered at first by Adams, and Dietrich, who already has 2 hits tonight, is retired. Marlins held off the scoreboard for the first time tonight, 7-0.
Start of the season for the Marlins. I talked to Don Mattingly earlier today, asked him what he liked about Pablo's debut outing from last Saturday, and he told me 2 things in particular. Number 1, he loved his composure on the mound, and a lot of that has to do with the way that he prepares for games. He's just a really smart kid. And then number 2, he loved the way that Pablo attacked the strike zone. Guys, a great start for him in this one tonight, and I'm sure he appreciates working with that 7-run cushion.
Yeah, I'm sure that goes a long way. Jessica, thanks so much. Also keep in mind, we talked about the Nimmo strikeout and the Bautista home run in that first inning. His second inning last time out was 30 pitches. Threw 30 pitches in his second big league inning and still was able to get all the way through into the 6th.
Saw some of that efficiency. Well, I'll tell you what, moving forward again, I'd love to plan the rest of his life for him. It would be very successful.
Not a Hall of Famer yet for you. Okay.
The point is, in his second big league start. Well, listen, you watch how everybody reacts behind him on defense. When you have a good rhythm on the mound, when you're throwing strikes, when you're attacking the strike zone, your defense loves you. Everybody wants to play behind you. Everybody wants to make plays because you know that your guy is attacking the strike zone. He's not walking hitters. He's not always trying to make the perfect pitch. It keeps everybody locked in. That's when you see defense make special plays, is when they're on their toes.
2-2 to Michael A. Taylor. Left side, it's Rojas on the run, makes the play for the first out of the inning.
Now, I love to keep a track of this. How about this? 6 groundouts already in this game. My goodness, nice job by Rojas cutting across and throwing on the run. Seen it many times. Perfect throw.
And in steps Pedro Severino, so that ground ball on the heels of a 4-6-3 double play to end the second inning. And if you go back to that Rays series, that is now 9 double plays turned by this defense, whether it be ground balls, lined into double plays, whatever it is. But 9 double plays turned, including the series with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, talk about ground balls coming out of the hands of Marlins pitchers. You're helping the offense out. You say, what are you talking about? Well, you leveled the playing field. Still keep asking you if you've ever seen a home run on the ground yet. You keep telling me no.
I haven't seen it. I'm looking everywhere.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So don't hold your breath. The point is, you level the playing field for your offense. Again, what have we seen the Marlins do? I know they got the 3-run home run from Prado. All the other hits tonight, singles.
Yep.
It's what they do. It's those low-scoring ball games. Let your defense play. Come through offensively. Boy, oh boy, cherish all the 3-run home runs you can get. You're going to win some ball games, and they've been. 6 of the last 9 series, the Marlins have won.
2-2 to Severino. Got a piece. A second big league start for Lopez, but in the 12 starts between AA Jacksonville and AAA New Orleans, 2-3 with a 1.44 ERA, a 1.96 opponent batting average. And just in talking with people around the team, most notably the President of Baseball Operations, Michael Hill, this young man busted the door down to get up to the major leagues, to climb through the system. This one lined out to Dietrich in left field, 2 away.
The Marlins and Metro PC will be hosting watch parties for the World Cup for afternoon games throughout the month at the 5th base, presented by Corona Light. First 50 guests to visit the Metro PCS store at Marlins Park before kickoff will receive VIP access. Visit marlins.com/watch parties for a list of dates.
So with Hellickson hitting for himself, down 7-0 in the bottom of the third, does that give you the indication that this might be one of those nights, especially coming off yesterday where he's got to wear one?
Well, for a little bit. I don't know. I mean, again, this is the 3rd inning of a ball game. So, yeah, you're right about that. But, I mean, I don't think this is the idea that he's going 6 or 7 or 8. I don't think that was ever the intentions anyway.
Okay.
So maybe an inning or 2, but you're in a position where you're chasing 7. 2 outs in the 3rd. I'm not surprised at this.
Called strike 3. First strikeout of the night for Lopez. Through 3 in D.C. 7-0. Miami Marlins t-shirt and a Florida Marlins t-shirt. In fact, it was on this day in 1991. So Geico presents this day in Major League Baseball history that Major League Baseball unanimously approved both the Florida Marlins and Colorado Rockies as baseball's two newest teams. Certainly an exciting time in South Florida and in Denver. And to think that 25 years later, championships later, the technology's gotten a lot better. No more of those rotary phones. Now everybody's got the cell phones. They've come a long way.
I guess we have.
So Dave Dombrowski celebrating the Marlins' first draft as well.
They're voting for JT Realmuto right there.
I hope so. I would hope. Of course, the voting ends tonight. I believe it's 11:59 Eastern time.
How many times can you vote a day?
5 a day.
5 a day?
35 total.
And I reached my limit.
Yep. As did I. Ryan Anderson on the first pitch. Chops one to Rendon at third. And one quick out here in the fourth. Why might people be voting for, and why might we be imploring people to vote for JT Realmuto? Well, among some of those reasons would be the fact that he now has a 12-game hit streak going. Drove in a couple of runs in the second inning, a 6-run second inning for the Marlins. They've opened things up against Jeremy Hellickson and the Washington Nationals. A Nationals team that has lost 5 straight games. And they are under 500 for the first time since May 3rd when they were 15-16. I mean, he's got the 3 longest hit streaks among catchers in the organization.
Yeah, just more numbers.
They've broken his bat on the line drive, base hit in front of Michael A. Taylor. Second hit of the game for JT Realmuto. And that is his 20th multi-hit game of the year.
Well, since the start of 2016, 329 average on the road, so I suppose we shouldn't be surprised. Yeah, this is a road trip, 4 games. It's second in Major League Baseball. And the All-Star Jose Altuve is better.
All-Star Altuve sounds good.
Yeah.
JT the All-Star sounds good too.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to weave that in somehow.
I mean, our shilling for this man will be ending at 11:59 tonight. But I will say, taking a step back is 2 people, frankly, that have had a national scope earlier in our careers. I think we're calling it down the middle too. That's part of it.
Really admitted to everybody, I'm trying not to play favorites. I mean, we certainly get to see him every day and enjoy it, but we're just being up front. He's the best catcher in the game right now.
Cracked the top 5 in the vote update earlier this week for the first time. As Bohr takes a called strike. JB walked in the first inning and had an RBI single in the second, also came around to score. Of course, Bohr took part in All-Star festivities last year in the Home Run Derby.
He represented himself very well. Thinking about the bobblehead that was just given away at Marlins Park.
Right.
The donuts.
Left center field, a long run for Taylor. He's back, and that one is gone. Speaking of home run derby, Bohr a 2-run shot, 9-0.
All right, big fella, that's where you like it. You like to get those arms extended in left center field. That's been a favorite spot of his this season. Let's sit back on a breaking ball. That's how you do it. Pitch recognition at the top of the zone, front foot down, hands back. I had a feeling You know, we're up 5 floors up here, right? So we have a little harder time kind of gauging things.
Yes.
I was watching his walk out of the box. I'm like, that ball's gone. There's no doubt about it because he knows he got it.
So a strike to Martine Prado, who, along with Bohr, has a home run tonight. Bohr's homer, a 2-run shot. Prado's a 3-run home run. And it's now 9-0 Miami.
13th home run against a righty this season for Bohr. Only his 5th on the road. Long balls at Marlins Park this season.
There is a lot of game left here, but just looking at their single game highs this year, 11 runs was their high. That was at St. Louis. And home runs, they have hit 3 home runs in a game 3 times this year. Prado, left field. Soto for the second out. Let's take a closer look at the home run. 103 off the bat, the other way. 403 for the home run.
No doubter. Good to see. Number of Marlins came into this series, some guys that were trying to get that bat going again, trying to finish this first half strong.
And Maben with a line drive into the glove of Rendon. Second time Maben has tested Rendon. Second time tonight, a Marlins gone deep. Bohr extends it to a 9-0 edge. World famous president's race.
Yeah, I had George. You had Teddy.
Oh, I had Abe. Abe.
Doesn't matter. I had George.
Does Teddy ever win? Right? He's the guy that always loses, right?
You lost. I won with George.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's been 4 seconds since you told me you won. Who won?
George.
Trey Turner out to center field. Maben looks up, and it's a home run for Trey Turner. That gets the Nationals on the board.
Well, Turner came in hot. 15 games, hitting over 360. Now his 3rd home run in that stretch. Lopez, he's now given up 3 earned runs on the season, all 3 solo homers.
The home run to Bautista, then Frazier, now Turner. Juan Soto fouling it back. Well, on the first batter that second time through, a guy that there's certainly not much of a book on, making it just his second major league start. This is where I would think the difference between the minor leagues and the major leagues about making those adjustments as Soto lines it out to center field for the first out. These are the situations where Lopez will be tested. You can go through the lineup. Basically, we got a double play, but he faced the minimum, right? The first 3 innings.
Well, and the Nationals are putting together information on him. Again, I've said it to you many times. You know, listen, scouting reports, iPads, ThinkPads, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Hitters want to see where the release point is. They want to know what he feels like. That matters to this game. It's more than just the knowledge that you put on paper or you know, is told to you by a hitting coach. You've got to get in the box and pick up that release point. So, to your point, watch him develop. He's going to have to make adjustments not only tonight, but throughout his early career here this season. He's going to have to start using the 2-seam fastball, the 4-seamer. Again, he's got the changeup and the curveball, and they're kind of works in progress. I've heard it kind of described that way. They're good at times, and we did see this against the Mets. Used them a couple of times, some good, some not so good. So far, what we've seen from him is a lot of fastball usage. I do anticipate seeing that tonight just because of the score of the ball game, but those secondary pitches are going to be pitches that are going to be important as he develops.
About a 20-mile-an-hour difference. It's on the ground to Rivera, backhanded to retire Rendon. Coming up tomorrow night, Dan Straley is on the mound. South Florida Honda dealers have Marlins live on the air at 6:30 Eastern time. We'll hear from Don Mattingly as he will sit down with Jessica Blaylock. She'll get into it with him on all the different roster moves and how things have gone for Pablo Lopez and how things are progressing off the disabled list with Sandy Alcantara. It's been a nice couple of weeks here for the Marlins as Bryce Harper swings at the first pitch, grounds it to Rojas, and the inning is over. But the Nationals get one on the home run from Turner, 9-1. By Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Cleveland Clinic, come out, join us for our community grand opening event on July 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. For more information, visit clevelandclinic.org/Coral Springs. And by La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. The Lincoln Memorial, one of many amazing landmarks in this beautiful city. as Jeffrey Rodriguez takes over, recalled today from AAA Syracuse. The corresponding move there, Eric Fetty on the 10-day DL, right shoulder inflammation, as we noted before. Pitched an inning yesterday and left the game with that. That's why so much was asked of the Nationals bullpen in their loss yesterday. And now Rodriguez comes in after 4 innings of work from Hellickson. Final line on Hellickson: 4 innings, 9 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts. And for the 3rd time today, thanks in part to the glove work of Rendon at 3rd, might I add, Miguel Rojas will lead off an inning. Taking a couple of hits away from Cameron Maben tonight. It's Rojas, Rivera, and Lopez in the 5th.
Yeah, Rodriguez, he's got a good arm. It's been up and down a bit this season. Fastball 95, 96 miles an hour. Change in curve.
It's the ground ball to Murphy at 2nd. An off-balance throw to get Rojas.
Now Rodriguez, the responsibility to give this Nationals bullpen some length tonight. I mentioned the vulnerability coming in. You know, even the one-person swap, that one person's going to have to give them innings of work tonight. He's not here for just 1 inning. He is going to pitch multiple innings.
Fouled back by Yadiel Rivera. A hit and a run scored in the 2nd and reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Those are Rodriguez's numbers in the minor leagues. This is his 4th stint with the big league club. His 4th game. He's made 2 starts. He's got some length in that arm, and as Holly said, probably the role today of eat up some innings so we don't go through our entire bullpen tonight.
Well, about halfway through this ball game, Marlins up by 8 runs. You know, one thing that really does stand out, we've had a lot of conversation about the Nationals and what they've become, a game under 500. Why are they struggling so much? Well, one other thing that needs to be mentioned is, as things have turned in this National League East. We've talked about the Phillies being out in front. Obviously, the Braves playing great baseball right now. The Nationals have dominated the National League East over the last 5 seasons. You go back to the last 2 years, you see the standings here today. They're 7 games back. Now, that's not insurmountable. They can get going again and start to play better baseball, but some ground ball to the left side. They're up with it. Out number 2. Currently, they're 13 and 16. They're 3 games under 500 versus the National League East. But last year, 18 games over. The year before that, 26 games over against the National League East. So that's a place where they've made up a lot of ground, where they've played some of their best baseball, which is always good to do, beat the guys in your division. But this year, they haven't done that yet.
They'll certainly see a lot of the Marlins this year, in the second half of this year. So again, one of those situations where, at least in talking with the Nationals, people around that organization, it's like the last few years, I mean, this has been the cream of the crop when it comes to the division, and in some cases in the regular season of the National League. And yet when it gets to October, they cannot kind of turn it back on, because in years past they've won the division by so many games. They haven't been tested in September. This year they might be.
Well, time will tell, but they have to get their players to play. They definitely have enough of them. There's some stars in just about every position. They've got to start performing as a unit, start winning some ball games. If they don't, tell you what, careful. Philadelphia's in a position to continue to add, as the Atlanta Braves are, and I think both organizations have said aloud, if we're where we need to be in a month or so, we'll go out and get some players.
Lopez down on strikes to end the top of the 5th inning. A 1-2-3 frame for Rodriguez.
Terry by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back here in D.C., 9-1 the score. Marlins on top as we go to the last of the 5th inning. It's time now for the Chevrolet Minor League Spotlight as we check in with Daniel Castano, 227th, promoted from the Gulf Coast League Marlins, and he just earned his 2nd consecutive win since joining the team. 7 innings, 3 runs, and 7 hits. As that team is right at 500, 41 up and 41 down.
Well, always good to make good first impressions.
Absolutely. Actually a 19th round pick of the Cardinals in 2016. Pablo Lopez with an 8-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Matt Adams, Daniel Murphy, and Michael A. Taylor.
Speaking of good first impressions, I'll tell you, Lopez has been quite impressive. 4 innings tonight, couple of hits. Solo home run to Turner. No walks, 1 K. Aggressive in the zone.
First pitch swinging for Adams, a base hit up the middle. He'll reach to start the inning as we check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, we've talked a lot about how the Nationals are hosting this year's All-Star Game and that JT Realmuto deserves to be there. Here's why. Take a look at some of his rankings among National League catchers. Average, first. Slugging percentage, first. Runs, first. Hits, second. Home runs, first. So it's a no-brainer. Now, Marlins fans, here's how you get him there. Go to marlins.com to cast your vote. You can vote a total of 5 times tonight, but you can only vote until 11:59 p.m. So do your thing. Get JT Realmuto to this year's All-Star Game.
There you go, right there. He should start the game. Now, here's the thing. I was talking with somebody the other day. If for some reason, I think we know what that reason might be. He's got a tough hill to climb. Should be there anyway. I'm sure that the players and the coaches, whoever fills out the roster, the fans vote to get the starters in. You figure he'll get back here to D.C. for the All-Star game. Look at it this way. If he doesn't start the game, maybe he comes up with a big hit late.
Certainly did enough of that for the Marlins here in the first half.
That's right, absolutely. Kind of used to it. Going into Daniel Murphy, and it's now 3 balls and no strikes. And we've talked about his athleticism. That's one. Just overall. His defense specifically terrific. His offense great. But how about all the different rookie pitchers that have come through? This is the 40th start by a rookie pitcher this year for the Marlins.
Right. It's been impressive. I mean, I guess I put it in terms of this, and I certainly know that he has been on board since this season started. But you know, you move back to what happened this winter to this ball club and a lot of the trades that were made. There's no doubt since spring training started where JT Realmuto's heart was, where his focus was, and what his goal was for this team this season. Displays it every day. The challenge right now is to help Lopez get locked back in again.
Hitting a walk, have 2 on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. And Michael A. Taylor digging in. 5 homers, 24 RBIs this year. It's Prado being in, step on the grass over at third as the first pitch in there for a called strike. Mentioned the Nationals looking up at the Atlanta Braves. In fact, the entire division looking up at the Atlanta Braves. They're currently in a first place matchup over the weekend with the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's a 2-1 Braves lead right now in the top of the 2nd inning. As Ozzie Albies in that game. A triple. I mean, this guy has been on fire the last few weeks, Ozzie Albies. He kind of busted out. It was, what, April? Everybody thought, well, he's the MVP. That's it. Season's over. Ozzie's the MVP. He cooled off a little bit, but entering today a .441 on base percentage. And 13 runs scored in a 14-game on base streak. I'll make it a 15-game on base streak with 14 runs scored. So he's at it again in Milwaukee. 0-2 here to Taylor. Pops this one up behind the plate. Still 0-2.
You can see the shifting. How about that? My goodness, 84%. You look up the middle, all the way over to that third base line. That's why you see Prado, Rivera, Rojas all over there, even with the potential for a double play. So much ground on that left side. Taylor clearly loves to pull the baseball.
A run in the first for the Marlins, 6 in the second, 2 more in the fourth. And a run for the Nationals in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2 home runs tonight for Miami, one from Martine Prado in his first game back off the disabled list. Back for the first time since late May. And a homer for Justin Bohr as well. Marlins have brought the bats on this short road trip, at least in the opener. They have already forced Jeremy Hellickson out of the game. Hellickson lasted only the first 4 innings, 9 runs and 8 hits. As the Major League's worst team ERA, at least dating back to the first week or so of June, only getting worse for the Washington Nationals. They'll have Gio Gonzalez on the hill tomorrow, and the Marlins will counter with Dan Straley. Popped up again behind the plate. The team doesn't have enough room. This catch on the bounce there.
Ricochet.
Ricochet, right.
It's a big spot because it's being tested. Taylor's putting together a good at bat. He's hanging in there. He's fouled off a few tough pitches. See Miller starting to get up. Yeah, you know what ends up happening. And we mentioned that Rodriguez might throw a few innings. What ends up happening is you smell an opportunity to get back in the ball game late, so you may see a pinch hitter at the bottom of this lineup.
Taylor will see at least 9 pitches in this at bat. Up the middle for a base hit. Adams held up, so they will be loaded with nobody out.
Well, a pretty good at bat for Taylor. My goodness, I'll tell you, he fouled off a number of tough pitches. That is not even an easy pitch to put in play hard. He did. He found a way, lined it into center field. Talk about opportunity for this Nationals team to wake up. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're building towards. Down 8 here in the 5th. Goal for Lopez here is to get back into the strike zone. Preferably find a ground ball. Trade and run for a double play. No doubt.
Lopez will face Pedro Severino, who paired with Matt Wieters have produced the lowest on-base plus slugging among major league catchers. The first pitch, a little in off the edge, tapped it foul, 0-1. Lined out to Dietrich in his first at-bat. Adams led off this inning with a base hit. Daniel Murphy walked. And then Michael A. Taylor with a single a moment ago to load the bases. Oh, 0-2. Well, It almost sounds silly to say that an at-bat in a 9-1 game is a crucial at-bat, but to get through Severino may force the hand of Dave Martinez to get a reliever out. It'll be Rodriguez due up next, and then you got the top of the order due up. And I don't really care if guys like Harper or whoever are hitting 200 or not. You know the kind of damage they can do.
This has been the test for Lopez so far. You can go back to the Taylor at bat. Really sticking with that sinker, really working it down in the zone. The Nationals are seeing the pitch more and more. The ability to fight it off. This is what big league hitters do. Lengthen at bats.
The 0-2 pitch. Chop foul.
Good changeup right there. Change speeds, but last two hitters really in survival mode. They get something they can handle. Job for Lopez here is to remain resilient, continue to make those pitchers pitches.
Swung on and missed, and a big strikeout of Severino for the first out here in the 5th inning.
Go ahead and give you a pitch by pitch here against Severino with the bases loaded. He stayed in with the two-seamer. Nice job. Wasn't going to give in. Stayed in on his hands. Made him foul off a couple of tough pitches. There's the changeup. What is he setting up? The fastball up. Puts him away. Blows him away. Four-seamer at the top of the zone. 95 miles an hour. Job well done.
So Rodriguez out, and Adam Eaton will pinch hit here with the bases loaded, one away. And the first pitch is just a little in. Since coming back off the disabled list on June 9th, Eaton 19 for 68. That's a 279 average. A couple of doubles, 5 RBIs rather.
Another good changeup by Lopez. Most of his damage done on the road this season. 4 games here at Park. 237. 4 homers, 2 RBIs.
Little off the edge. I mentioned the second inning of Lopez's first start. His last time out, he had that 30-pitch second inning. This next pitch is going to be number 24 here in the 5th. He does have the 9-run lead, which allows for a little wiggle room, but at the same time, you got Turner, who's homered, on deck. Juan Soto, who can do some damage, and then Rendon and Harper. It's 3 balls and a strike to the pinch hitter Adam Eaton. And Lopez has walked in a run.
It's a pretty good test for the young Lopez. I'll tell you, here comes Trey Turner. He's already got a home run. Last at bat to straightaway center field. Center cut fastball. Start the 4th inning. Lopez a little bit more on point with that first fastball that he just threw to Turner. 94 with some arm side run.
In addition to the home run, a ground out to Prado at third in the first inning. And a ball and a strike. 1-2.
Tell you what, the changeup has been a real weapon tonight, a good equalizer. This Nationals ball club really trying to handle and sit on his 93-mile-an-hour sinker. The changeup, same arm action, same depth at home plate, just less velocity. Here it is.
Conley begins to loosen for the Marlins in their bullpen.
And despite the lead, this has been a pressure-packed inning for Lopez, no doubt. Feel the tension comes with bases loaded.
On the ground, Bohr goes to second, and Rivera will hold it. Another run comes in as Murphy crosses home to make it 9-3. Now 2 outs and runners on the corners.
Ground ball to the right side. Nice job by JB. Trying to turn 2. Tough to do. Turner, way too much speed for that.
And that'll bring up Juan Soto. Certainly still a long way to go in this game, just in the 5th inning here, but a 6-run cushion, and if he can get through 5, he'd qualify for a win, which he got last time in his first major league start. And Soto sends this one out to center field. Maben will play this one off the wall. Boy, that was stung to center field. Taylor is in, as is Turner. A 2-run double for Juan Soto, and it's now 9-5.
Many around this ball club continue to rant and rave. Juan Soto, most of the time it's about his approach at home plate. So he is like a veteran, patient, deliberate, powerful. That's on display right there. Lopez is learning the more pitches you throw in the inning, the more prone you are to mistakes as well. Center cut fastball there, rocking it off that center field wall.
Now Anthony Rendon, 4 runs in the inning, 5 unanswered runs for the Nationals. Second pitch of the inning. There's a strike to Rendon. Although I'm sure a lot of it is dependent on the score. It was 9-1 coming into this inning. And that's kind of why they're letting Lopez work through this. I think if it were a tighter game, he probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to give up 4 runs in this inning, but a learning experience for sure.
You're also at the front end of a 4-game series against the Nationals, a team you have not beaten all that much. You're also trying to get him through a 5 or 6 inning start to create vulnerability in your own bullpen. We mentioned time and time again, long stretch of games the Marlins are in right now without a day off.
Next day off is the 12th of July.
After watching this, what we've seen already halfway through game number 1 of this series, I mean, it's hard not to think that the rest of the series won't be incredibly offensive. You're already exposing vulnerability and potentially in the Nationals bullpen, and obviously the Marlins bullpen up already with 14 runs on the scoreboard.
1-2 to Rendon, misses outside. Couple of groundouts tonight for Rendon. He has been one of the hotter hitters for the Nationals the last 3 or so weeks. Lopez trying to stop the bleeding right here. 4 runs have scored. Runner on second. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And he gets Rendon to chase down low. But the Nationals making it a game again by scoring 4. It's 9-5. Sixth inning as Sean Kelly is in out of the Nationals bullpen. We saw Justin Miller up, and that was when the game was not quite as close as it is now. A 4-run difference. And Kelly pitching in his 27th game this season. He's kept opponents to a batting average below 200. He'll face the top third of the Marlins order, Dietrich, Anderson, and Real Muto.
He's been particularly hot over his last 15 games. 188 ERA, 13 strikeouts. His batting average against 176.
Dietrich takes upstairs. Couple of hits, couple of runs scored tonight for Dietrich. And another multi-hit game for him. He's approaching his career mark. 26. He's got 24 now. Still a little less than half a season to go. It's been a good run for Dietrich overall. 2 hits tonight, hopefully breaking him out of a little slump that he was in on the homestand when he was 6 for 34. 2 hits to start this road trip. Now the 1-1 is grounded foul, ball and 2 strikes. Upstairs. They call that the bow tie. Right around, yeah, right around the neck, just like a bow tie. Was that the first time this year I've taught you something?
Yeah.
How about that? Took 86 games.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
back to the fastball. Four-seamer slider, 92, 93 miles an hour.
One away now for Brian Anderson. Anderson, a ground out in the first, was hit by a pitch, came around to score in the second, and grounded out in the fourth.
The challenge for this Marlins offense is to get back in gear again. Generally speaking, you score 9 runs in a ball game. A lot of times an offense can, fortunately, fall into a spot.
Well, that might help. Into the gap in right center field. Going to be extra bases for Anderson with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
He is always on time this year when I start going down that path, isn't he? I'm telling you. A couple of innings, he had responded. Now this game is 9-5. You want to see it once again. Well, I'll tell you what, Brian Anderson goes to right field as well as any young hitter in the game. Once again, finds pitch to his liking and drives it into that right center field gap.
Still a few hours left to try to get Brian Anderson to the All-Star game. The guy with the clearest path is at the plate right now.
Well, that double right there was in response to Soto's double.
Well, naturally, yes. Yeah. So that he's focused more on the big picture, the Rookie of the Year discussion.
JT's doing what JT's doing. I'll tell you, kind of expect him, and I even think back to last year, a number of his at-bats here in this park, which plays very much to his game. Doubles, triples, obviously some home runs as well. But the middle of the field, this ballpark's got some gaps you can go to. We've seen it so far with 2 at-bats in this series. It's gone right back through the middle. Only a 2-run single.
Backs him off the plate a little bit. A ball and a strike. Kelly, 3rd pitcher for the Nationals tonight. Jeremy Hellickson started the game with the first 4. Gave up 9 runs, 8 of them earned. And then Jeffrey Rodriguez worked the 5th. And that one a little too far inside. Gets a piece of Real Muto. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, his fastball runs up and in. Looks like JT, no worse for the wear, makes his way down to first base. That's good to see. Certainly do not want to lose him in any extended period of time.
And now Justin Bour. He's already got 3 RBIs in this game. Walked in the first, an RBI single and a run scored in the second, and a 2-run home run in the 4th.
This, I'll tell you what, it's a pretty swing. When he gets something to his liking where he gets those arms extended, my goodness, he's got as much power to left center field as about any lefty in the game. Certainly on display there. Remember, that was a breaking ball. It wasn't turning velocity back around. That is generating your own velocity, and he hit it 403 feet out.
Not a bad homecoming for him. Of course, born in Washington, D.C., went to George Mason University in Virginia. It's the home cooking. And out to the mound goes Severino. Now, one thing that you've pointed out a couple of times to me, I think we've talked about it maybe once or twice on air, is where he sets up in the box too, and what he's able to do to kind of cover the whole plate when there's those outside pitches to really drive him the other way.
Well, and again, that's where his strength is. Loves gets his arm extended. He kind of hits like a, I'll say like a small guy. Most small guys like to be up in the box and they kind of straddle home plate. Justin Bour does just that. He's actually up in the box. Most power hitters want to get as far back from home plate as they can so they can generate that power, number one, and buy themselves as many seconds of a swing as they can possibly get. So you'll see guys kind of work to the back of the box. They kind of wipe out that last line. I remember Edgar Martinez, boy, oh boy, I think maybe his big toe was touching the back of that line. He wanted to get as deep as he could. I kind of stayed at the back of the box, but not JB. Let's be up there more towards the front. That's how he takes that breaking ball away and hits it 400 plus feet.
Two and two from Kelly down the right field line. Foul. Again, 5 unanswered runs by the Nationals, but a chance here for the Marlins to get a few back. But Bohr comes up empty there for the second out of the inning.
It's time to play ball. Join us to celebrate your love of baseball during Play Ball Weekend from July 13th through July 15th when the Marlins take on the Phillies. Arrive early on Saturday, July 14th. Take home a Play Baseball. Sunday the 15th to grab a Sandlot Ham Porter bobblehead. Visit marlins.com/giveaways to purchase your tickets.
Two on, two out for Martine Prado in his first game off the DL. Has already made his presence felt. He grounded out to Anthony Rendon in the first inning. Rendon couldn't handle it. Charged with an E5, a run came in to score in the first, and then a 3-run home run in the second inning. And that one upstairs. Right down the left field line, about a third of the way up the foul pole. There for a called strike, 1-1. He's enjoyed playing here in his career, a 300 hitter with 6 of his 98 career home runs in this ballpark. This one popped up behind first, and it's Adams in fair territory to end the inning. Marlins up 9-5 through 5.5. Severino, Todd Hollandsworth, Jessica Blaylock in Washington, D.C. as the Nationals trailing 9-5 at this point, and they have done an awful lot of that at home. As we take a look at our Toyota trend, they are 19-23 here. They've lost 3 in a row, 9 of the last 13 home games, and only one team in Major League history has had a losing record and still made the playoffs. That was the 2001 Braves, a game under 500 back at Turner Field back in the day. Bryce Harper and the Nationals are certainly having a rough go of it right now, and that has been well documented. They will face Adam Conley here in the 6th inning. Harper, Adams, and Murphy against the lefties in his 20th game this year. Not in relief of Pablo Lopez.
Fastball, changeup, slider. Throwing hard, 94, 96 miles an hour. He's doing a fantastic job. 21 strikeouts, 19 innings of work. ERA well under 2. Talking about that, you go all the way back to the start of June. The Marlins offense has been much better than the Nationals offense. You talk about reasons why they're not playing well. I mean, listen, we all know where the most recognizable names kind of sit up and down this Nats lineup, right?
Yeah.
Marlins have been better. How about this? 677 OPS in the month of June. 20 home runs for the Marlins. 714 OPS, 24 home runs. I don't think fans know this, but in June, the Marlins were 4th in Major League Baseball with 52 doubles, 2nd with 7 triples.
Harper takes low and away. Well, here's the thing. So, one time between the start of the season and June 1st, the Nationals were shut out. From June 1st till yesterday, they've been shut out 8 times. Like, they just don't score runs.
Yeah, you understand. Like when I mean, I'm sure you probably heard it. I know, hanging around some of the guys over at MLB Network, like you hear words like virus, right? Like there's a plague, and it's like somehow it goes through the clubhouse. No, it's not like everybody actually catches something, but all of a sudden, all these incredibly talented hitters stop hitting. And it's hard to explain sometimes. And you say to yourself, managers scratch their head, they're like pulling their hair out trying to figure out what in the world is going on. You know, how can I have this lineup of all-stars up and down, and yet all of them are struggling at the exact same time?
Well, I mean, they say hitting is contagious. I'm sure going cold is contagious too.
That's exactly right. Told you many times, right? You know, even when you see like the, 1 or 2 guys that might be immune to it for an extended period of time, I think I've said it to you a number of times. I said, watch. If that offense doesn't get in gear, the virus will get to that guy, and it almost always does.
Just outside, and Harper works the walk to lead off the 6th. The final line on Lopez tonight: 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Second big league start for him, staked to a 9-0 lead. So maybe you still got to get outs. I do understand that, but maybe not, having to work through some things outside of that 5th inning when he threw over 30 pitches. And now Adams down the right field line. Anderson will play it off the wall. Harper being held at 3rd on the double by Adams. That is his 3rd hit of the game. Nats are in business. Just laced down the right field line by Adams.
Well, he has been swinging the bat early and often tonight. I'll tell you what, Adams is showed up ready to swing the bat. My goodness. Double in the right field corner. First pitch he sees. This Nats offense, once again, they're rolling. Players on 2nd and 3rd. Nobody out. Bottom 6.
Well, baseball is not a game that you can play angry. It's not football where you can, get a little perturbed and then just go run through somebody. You got to play it with a certain level of controlled aggression. But boy, oh boy, the last few innings, last couple of innings, in fact, the Nationals have actually looked a little angry, and rightfully so. They haven't been winning games. Had the team meeting yesterday after the loss to the Red Sox. And they fall behind 9-0. Trying to fight back as Murphy takes a called strike. And as it is with any club that is quote unquote supposed to be good, there comes a point in time, there's half a season left. I mean, nobody is they're not mathematically eliminated yet, but there will come a point in time, I would think, as Murphy sends it out to left field. Dietrich drifts back. He'll make the catch, and Harper's going to score on the sac fly. Advancing to third is Adams, and it's 9-6.
Some aggressive base running. That's what I was talking about Harper there. Here's Adams at second base. Dietrich backtrack to the warning track and catch that ball and get it back in. No fault of his own. Ended up on his heels just a little bit. That ball carried pretty well. Really not able to get in a good throwing position. Adams moves up to third base.
And now Michael A. Taylor takes upstairs. So I guess my point was, eventually the teams usually that are supposed to usually hit their stride. I mean, for the first half of last season, we were talking about how the Cubs were just kind of treading water. They trade for Quintana right at the All-Star break. They come out of the break. They never look back in the division. I don't know about you. I can see that type of potential. That's not a knock on the teams in front of them, but I can see that kind of potential with the Nationals. Once they get back to full health. They don't have Strasburg right now.
No. Either way you look at it, it's the type of team there's not a whole lot to change. I mean, that's kind of the problem that you have. You got to ride it all the way out to the end, whether you want to or not. There's not a whole lot of shaking you can do with this roster. There's too many proven names, too many proven players.
Taylor works the walk. The tying run will come to the plate.
I don't know about you, but that 3-0 pitch looked pretty good to me. Another quick look. Definitely inside the strike zone, but sometimes when you scatter it, you don't get borderline pitches, although I don't really consider that borderline.
Well, Dave Martinez going back to the bench here as Pedro Severino's day is done, and lefty killer Mark Reynolds is going to step to the dish.
Hitting .293 against lefties this season, the homer. One of bats. Well, I'll tell you what, for about 2 innings, you thought that maybe this was going to be easy, putting this losing streak against the Nationals to rest. About 2/3 of the way through this ball game now, it doesn't look so easy, does it? It never is.
Nope.
Especially when you start to get into something that everybody knows about, a number that's significant, like 11. Certainly know Mark Reynolds capable of hitting the long ball, certainly a history of success against lefties, but also a history of striking out.
Inside, upstairs at 94 miles an hour. And Reynolds hits the deck.
You call it a bow tie. I call it an attention getter. How about that?
All right.
There you go. Got everybody's attention here at Nats Park, including Mark Reynolds.
Conley has had a tough time finding the strike zone. Gets a strike there at 95 miles an hour past Reynolds, and it's 2-1. 11 of his 17 pitches outside the strike zone, including 4 to Bryce Harper, the leadoff walk. He has come around to score already this inning. And a double for Adams, who is at third right now. Sac fly for Murphy and a walk to Taylor. Reynolds up as the tying run. The Nationals once trailed this game 9-0.
1 for 4 pinch hitting this season.
And the bases are loaded. Third walk of the inning for Adam Conley. And Wilmer Defoe is going to pinch hit. He takes ball 1. "21 pitches this inning for Conley. He has registered 1 out.
Not a whole lot of value in his changeup right now. It's been such a good secondary pitch. Not in a position to bring the slider out. He hasn't even thrown it yet. It's really been fastball changeup, but the changeup out of the zone, scattering it. Nationals hitters not even worrying about it right now. This is mano-y-mano. 96 versus the swing.
Defoe more than a .300 hitter at home this year. In fact, in his career, a .314 hitter here at Nationals Park. In the dirt, 2-2. They check. He went around. First base umpire Mike DeMuro says that's a swing and a big second out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A huge changeup, a huge strikeout in the 6th. Defoe laid off that first changeup. Conley said, "Can you lay off 2?" A little help. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th.
Not out of the woods as Turner, the cue shot foul, 0-1. Turner grounded out in the first inning, a solo home run in the 4th. And reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 5th inning. Tying runs on base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Marlins playing Turner straight up in the outfield, straight up on the infield as well.
One and two. You know, without looking back through every inning that Conley's thrown, I can't imagine and remember many more stressful innings than this one here.
Well, with the pitch count climbing, you know, this is where a starter really benefits him. I mean, you see that number, but you don't worry about it too much. Conley's started enough to how this goes.
Deep left field and gone. A grand slam for Trey Turner. And the Nationals have erased a 9-0 deficit and take a 10-9 lead.
I'll tell you what, sometimes team meetings matter. Here's the mistake. That pitch, center cut at the belt and turned around by Turner. Give you one more look. That pitch missed its mark. Looking to go away. You saw JT Realmuto set up away, reach back across home plate. Turner sitting on it. Coming in, one of the hottest hitters in this Nationals team. Second home run of the night. And the Nats a 1-run lead.
One run in the bottom of the fourth, 4 in the fifth, and 5 here in the sixth inning, as the Nationals now lead this one by a run. Now, the last time a team came back from a 9-0 deficit, it also happened here at Nationals Park. Braves were down 9-0 after 5 innings in 2012, won 11-10 in 11. Only the bottom of the sixth. But what a game it's been to this point. Slap foul by Soto. Second grand slam of the year for the Nationals. And the second home run of the game for Trey Turner as Soto walks. And Don Mattingly has seen enough. He makes the Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Nationals up by 1. Sixth. The new Monopoly Jackpot scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery are a new spin on a classic. They're loaded with prizes from $10,000 to $2 million. So unleash the excitement anytime. Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Well, it's Drew Gruzinski in his 12th game this season. On in relief of Adam Conley, who got 2 outs. Gave up 2 hits, but walked 4. Gave up a home run, which was a grand slam off the bat of Trey Turner. For Conley, who has been beyond reliable this year out of the Marlins bullpen, this was not one of those nights.
Now, listen, 4 walks speaks for itself. 35 pitches you talk about. Listen, that changeup's a great pitch, but if it gets away, you know, is there a slider to fall back on? There's no doubt in those 35 pitches you didn't see one. You saw a couple of good changeups, a couple of bad ones, but some fastball command that got away just a bit. Again, there's vulnerability in that.
So now Gruzinski will try to get the last out here in the 6th inning. faces Anthony Rendon and not only misses low, but loses his footing on the mound.
Looks like all as well. Looks like he's okay. And he definitely took a tumble. Turned an ankle for sure. Throwing the ball well. Scoreless over his last 4. Watch that front foot come out from underneath.
There have been 6 pitchers. He is the 6th. So all those spots where a pitcher will fall, all those little footholes, make for a little bumpy road. Out to center field. Maben is back and will track this one down for the final out. But a grand slam in the inning for Turner. The Nationals up by 1. Back here at Nationals Park, once a 9-0 lead for the Marlins is now a 10-9 deficit as Spencer Kieboom takes over behind the plate. Pedro Severino was lifted for a pinch hitter earlier, and now Kieboom takes over. Brand new battery, in fact, as Brandon Kinsler is on in relief, trying to protect a 1-run lead as we move to the 7th inning. Wow, what a back and forth it has been tonight, and really just one ebb and one flow. It was 9-0. It's now 10-9. So maybe not all that much back and forth at all. Something that you brought up that you had seen just coming out of that team meeting was that Trey Turner said it's like do or die time now.
Yeah, well, that was a quote after yesterday's meeting, and I'll tell you what, he seems to be the one with the most urgency, right? I mean, we've seen it in his performance tonight. A couple of home runs.
So, take me inside the Marlins dugout right now. You're up 9-0 now. You're down 10-9. You've seen it evaporate rather quickly, but you know you still have 3 at-bats.
You don't need to look at the scoreboard. You don't have to worry about anything other than the fact you're chasing 1. That's it. Simply put, this isn't about what the score is, how you got here, where momentum lies. You're just trying to put together good at-bats and get some guys on base. The Marlins have done that. In fact, haven't been able to score. Last couple of innings, they had 5 guys go to the plate in the 6th. Runners on 1st and 2nd, unable to get anybody in. Scored a couple of runs in the 4th on Boer's 2-run home run. So, I mean, again, any combination of that, you're right back. You know, you're either tying this ball game up or you're retaking the lead. I know overcoming this deficit is the storyline right now, and momentum, if there ever is. I know we talk about this all the time in baseball, but the Marlins had it, and now the Nationals have got it.
The 1-2 to Maben is tap foul. Maben's hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. Had a hit taken away by Rendon in the 1st inning. He struck out and then lined out to Rendon in the 4th.
I'll tell you what, though, there's probably some sense, and I'm not really talking about the Marlins here, more the Nats, of holding on. You know, they've gotten the lead now. The inning ended. Of course, we don't know where the rest of this game goes, but my point is this. Sometimes what ends up happening is that the pressure goes to the Nats bullpen to finish the job, meaning overcoming the huge deficit was the offense's storyline, and they've now done that, meaning maybe there's a chance they don't score any more runs tonight. Point being, if the Marlins can get something going here, they can reclaim that. I told you about this bullpen. This bullpen's been scuffling as well. So June 22nd, bullpen 4.47 ERA, 19th in Major League Baseball, 50-plus innings of work. It's the fourth most, and they've allowed 11 home runs, tied for the most in Major League Baseball over that time.
Rojas in on the hands, grounds one to Turner. 2 away. Well, I guess the way to look at it, now there's 2 outs in the inning, is that if the Marlins pitchers, who would include Dylan Peters, if they keep it where it's at, then the tying run comes to the plate 7 times. Right? I mean, that's
a chance.
That's one way to look at it.
It's a 1-run ball game right now. Ball's jumping out of here tonight. We've seen 19 runs scored already, right? Gaps have been hit hard. We've seen a few home runs. There's a chance for more offense. This game is far from over.
Yadiel Rivera waiting for the 0-1. Takes a called strike. And a backhanded pick at first. The flip to Kinsler. Adams makes the play. And it's 7th inning stretch time here in D.C. It is a 10-9 deficit for the Marlins. Cricket gives us something to smile about. What's been a rough couple of innings, but prior to that, the return of Martine Prado. First game off the DL. Got the run in on an error early, then a nice backhanded play, and then the big swing for him. The 3-run home run down the left field line. Welcome back, Martine.
Certainly hope that Martine gets one more opportunity tonight to do some more damage. Good to see Prado passing all the tests. That really is what tonight's about for him. Starling Castro into the ball game, second base.
And Dylan Peters Recalled a couple of days ago on the mound will face Bryce Harper, who chops one into the camera well. 0-1. Third stint with Miami this year. He's also made 9 starts with New Orleans. And takes a little off there. It's 0-2.
Good breaking ball to the bottom of the zone. Tell you what, Peter's little bump there. First pitch came in at 94 miles an hour. Oh my.
Also at 94, 1 out.
Just blew him away. There you go. How about that? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. My goodness. That's good to see. Good breaking ball to go along with it. Nice job. Bryce Harper down on 3 pitches.
To figure out where that extra little oomph came from, because he wasn't throwing that hard in his first 2 stints that I can remember.
Well, not out of the bullpen. That might be it. Of course, there's probably some adrenaline tonight. This has been somewhat of an intense ball game atmosphere with a lot of the momentum kind of going back and forth. Certainly feel it in the bullpens. Yeah, good to see Matt Adams not swinging at the first pitch. He's only seen 3 pitches tonight, and he's done that.
Single in the second and the 5th. Double in the 6th. Couldn't hold up there. 0-2. He scored 2 of the Nationals' 10 runs tonight. What a way to start a 4-game series between these 2 teams.
Yeah, the fireworks were supposed to be yesterday.
Now Lopez started, went 5, gave up 5. Adam Conley came in and again has been so good out of the Nationals pen, or out of the Marlins pen this year, but just didn't have the control tonight. 35 pitches, 15 for strikes. That led to 4 walks and 5 Nationals runs. One of the strikes he threw was a home run off the bat of Trey Turner, a grand slam.
There's newly acquired Herrera, loosening in the Nats bullpen.
And a fair ball down the right field line. It kicks out, and somebody's seen the scouting report on Brian Anderson's arm. Holding it first is Adams.
Well, how about it? My goodness, whether it's the first pitch or not, he's locked in right now. That is the 4th hit tonight for Matt Adams. All started with a little blooper down the left field line. Going almost exclusively to right ever since.
Well, he missed time with an injured finger. He was supposed to miss 6 weeks. He missed 16 games.
Well, in the report is that his words, it became tolerable, meaning he was still playing in some pain, but he was being able to get through the game. The idea is that his bat had become so valuable to this Nats lineup because so many others were struggling that he kind of talked his way into it.
Yeah. Well, the offense not struggling tonight as Murphy lines one out to Anderson for the 2nd out. 10 runs on the board with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th here. 10 runs in their previous 4 games. Again, Peter's job, keep it where it's at. In the last 2 at-bats for the Marlins, whether it's Herrera or Doolittle or any combination of anybody else in that Nationals pen, 1 run easier to come by than multiple runs. I'm Captain Obvious. I'll be here all night. Michael A. Taylor grounded out in the third. Oh wait, that's Captain Obvious right there. Never mind.
Tried to steal his day job.
Yeah, I did. That is literally Captain Obvious. You can see he's wearing a sash. Oh my goodness. Terrific camera work. Well, who knew? Through the left side for Taylor, a base hit. Taylor's reached base each of his last 3 trips. Adams on second and Taylor on first for Spencer Kieboom. Takes high for a ball. Kieboom getting increased playing time at the big league level because of the injury to Matt Wieters. On the DL right now with a hamstring strain. We hope to get Wieters back sometime around the All-Star break. Saw him in the dugout earlier, and I believe that's a swing for Kieboom, 1-1.
No home runs, 3 RBIs on the season. This is only his 18th game.
Now, when he was drafted out of Clemson, he was considered one of the best defensive catchers in the country. 5th round pick in 2012 by the Nationals. Made his major league debut at the end of the 2016 season. Base hit right field. Anderson comes up throwing, but it'll be an RBI for Kieboom. And it's 11-9.
Now the idea that maybe this Nats team would sit on the bullpen has now gone out the window. They are not done scoring yet. Together quality at bat after quality at bat. Keep them going the other way with an elevated pitch. 2-out RBI. They increase their lead to 2.
And now Brian Goodwin to pinch hit in the pitcher spot.
Now Goodwin has had his struggles in this role in 2018. 0 for 18 as a pinch hitter.
This is low, 2 balls and no strikes. Goodwin's been part of this organization since 2011 when they drafted him. They've kind of been waiting for him to take off. 34th overall pick. A little up and in. 3 balls and no strikes. Limited to a pinch hit role with the way this team is currently constructed with the emergence of Soto. Of course, they still have Harper. Eaton's on the roster. Taylor's on the roster. Their other top prospect outside of Soto is Victor Robles, an outfielder. But Goodwin works the walk to load him up. Now it's time for the Coors Light refreshing finish. And it's the day for Trey Turner.
Well, it started with a fastball down the middle of the plate, about thigh high. Hits a home run to straightaway center field. Pitch to his liking against Connolly, and has changed with one swing the course of this game. Marlins at one point up 9-0. It's no longer the case.
Well, the last time Turner came up with the bases loaded, a grand slam. Only 13 players in the history of the game have hit 2 grand slams in a game. The last, Josh Willingham of the Nationals in 2009. In terms of 3 homer games, Anthony Rendon, the last National to do so. Base hit into left field. What a day for Turner. He'll drive home 2 more. An 8 RBI game for Trey Turner, and it's 13-9.
Well, first pitch breaking ball starts high in the zone, comes in about the 5, right down the middle of the plate. It's ripped into left. He is going to continue to add to that RBI total. 13 unanswered runs this evening by the Washington Nationals. Now, if you're looking to jumpstart a clubhouse, this is how you do it. It's not how you write the script at the beginning, but I'll tell you what, looking down into that Nationals dugout, you see lots of jumping around and lots of excitement.
We mentioned the 8. The home plate umpire John Tumpain going over to talk with Don Mattingly. Not quite sure about what, but talked about the 8 shutouts since June 1st for this Nationals offense. They also did score 17 runs about a week or so ago against the Philadelphia Phillies. But then they came back the next day, scored 2, scored 3, scored 3, scored 4, and then they got shut out again. They've lost 5 straight.
Straight from Dave Martinez yesterday in his press conference. He kept saying the word consistency and his team's inability to maintain it.
Well, they've been rather consistent since the bottom of the 4th when they scored 1, then 4 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th, and 3 so far here in the 7th.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Base hit through the left side will score another. Juan Soto comes through.
Vacated hole. They said about this young man. Soto hits the ball line to line. He's got power, double power, home run power as well. He's got a very advanced approach at home plate. Patient hitter. Stays in on lefties.
A strike to Anthony Rendon, the 9th hitter of the inning. The Nationals sent 8 to the plate in the 5th, 9 in the 6th, and they have batted around again here in the 7th.
I think this inning started with a 3-pitch strikeout of the man in the on-deck circle in a dominant way.
Then 5 hits and a walk mixed in afterwards. To Rojas at short, the flip to Castro, and the inning is over. But the Nationals add 4 more. Lead it 5-5. It's tough. I want to call it 2 games. The Marlins got out to a 9-0 lead, but since then, the second half of this game has been all Nationals, 14 unanswered runs. And what a day for Trey Turner as Justin Miller takes over in his 18th game this year. Well, Trey Turner, a grand slam, a solo home run. He's got 8 RBIs in the game. That is ties the major league record for most RBIs by a leadoff hitter in a game, and it's the most RBIs in a game this year. Starlin Castro takes strike 1 from Miller. Castro didn't start the game. Mattingly wanted to give him a day off, but now hitting in the number 9 spot. Came in as part of a double switch. We'll try to jumpstart a late rally inside 1-1. Castro's been swinging a hot bat as of late. Tough to take him out of the starting lineup. He was 19 for 40 on the homestand. That's a .475 batting average. And 2 home runs and 4 RBIs.
He's got a little mini 3-game hitting streak going, in which he's 8 for 14. A couple of walks as well. Picked up his 100th hit of the season yesterday. And he's done a very nice job leading off an inning. 346 on the season.
You mentioned the 100th hit of the year for Castro. It's the second earliest that he's ever, date-wise, that he's ever gotten a 100th hit in his career since 2011 with the Chicago Cubs. You know, so for as much as this guy has been around, it seems like forever. He's still rather young as he sends this one out to right field. Harper is back and on the track, and it goes over his head. Kind of got spun around a little bit on a tailing fly ball off the bat of Castro, who was on second to lead off the 8th.
Starlin Castro and the Marlins will certainly take it. Bryce Harper led most of us to believe that this was a routine fly ball, even settling underneath it, or at least so it seemed at the warning track as it sailed back over his glove hand. Watch. A little tail away, never really got to the wall.
So he stays hot with his 20th double of the year. And now Derek Dietrich. Loud foul ball down the right field line. Oh, 0-1 to Dietrich. There's a couple of hits. Got one in the first and the second. Came around to score both times. And the 0-1 to Dietrich. They've gotten a piece, 0-2. How about the setup of Miller, by the way? Kind of points his left toe at shortstop. You can see that big number 60 on his back, the way that he sets up to the hitter. And then just kind of unfurls to the plate.
Generally, guys do that. Hitters do it as well, trying to really keep that front side closed more towards your target. So guys will overdo it just to kind of remind themselves how to stay on line.
And when he sets up, it's a little awkward, but in terms of the actual delivery, like when a hitter is trying to pick him up, is it still as deceiving?
Well, absolutely, unless he flies open, but he doesn't. See, it helps him stay straight, and what's helped him, see his stuff, he throws hard, 94 miles an hour. Four-seam fastball and a slider, but he hides the ball. See that front shoulder closes up, he kind of turns away from it, and he opens back up to the point of straight. Still not picking up the ball. He is well on his way towards home before you see that arm swing around.
A 31-year-old who's 6'3", looks in for the sign on the 1-2 to Derek Dietrich with Castro after a leadoff double on at second. 2-2.
Now, you would think generally that the slider would be his big wipeout pitch. In fact, his four-seam fastball is more than anything. 25 of his 34 strikeouts have come on the four-seam fastball.
Well, Dietrich got to his 24th multi-hit game this year rather quick, and his first two at-bats helped to jumpstart a 6-run second inning for the Marlins. Two and two, misses outside. 2-2, the 2-2 misses outside. Dietrich will head halfway down to first. Well, I will say, I've lost track of the outs before as a broadcaster. It happens. Right field line, Harper will watch this one get in the seats. Don't lie, Holly, we're in the trust tree. Has that happened to you before? Have you thought it was...
Forgotten how many outs there are?
No, ball 4 and...
No, not like that. I don't think I ever have. But I have forgotten how many outs there are on defense.
All right.
With the bases loaded. Caused 2 runs to score. Yeah, it was pretty painful. It's kind of like what you just said. That was my reaction. Yeah, that hurt.
3-2 pitch, fouled off.
Well, Miller's convinced he can get a fastball in on Dietrich. Right now, Dietrich's doing a pretty good job fouling it off. I'll tell you what, if he misses by an inch or two more towards the plate, this might be a 14-11 game.
Another payoff pitch, and that one misses upstairs. Well, MLB At Bat is your #1 app for Marlins baseball. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Marlins home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, live radio broadcasts, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. And if you're using At Bat, you can follow along to see that Dave Martinez is going to make a pitching change. Doesn't want this one to get away. The Marlins have 2 on here in the 8th. The Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Marlins trail, but they've got 2 on and nobody out as the Nationals go to Kelvin Herrera, somebody that they brought over from the Kansas City Royals to help solidify their bullpen, his 35th game overall this year.
Yeah, you see his numbers on the season, 1.67 ERA. He was absolutely lights out for the Royals. 27 games. Kansas City 14 of 16 in saves, 1.05 ERA. He throws hard. He struggled a little bit more here with the Nats, 4.05 ERA, 3 earned runs, 6 2/3 innings of work. 4-seam fastball at 97. Occasional slider and change. 2-time All-Star, World Series champion with the 2015 Royals.
His first pitch in there for a called strike. Holly, who leads all rookies and is second among players with runners in scoring position entering the day?
Brian Anderson.
So maybe this is where the rally begins on the Marlins side of things. They have seen 14 unanswered runs for the Nationals as Anderson drills one out to center field. It's a 3-run home run for Brian Anderson. And we've got ourselves a game.
Well, do I need to tell you good call?
No, but I do need to thank BA tomorrow.
Pat yourself on the back, pal. I'll give you knucks, but that's as far as I'm going.
Thanks.
Well, he jumps all over a fastball. I'll tell you, Brian Anderson, special hitter, especially when he uses the middle of the field. You love it when he goes the other way, but how about this? Just absolute rocket. No, by the way, here's your bonefish. Fresh catch of the game. Catch out there in center field. As you said, we now have ourselves a ball game, 14-12. You're looking, move into field goal range.
I was just was just going to say that. Keep matriculating the ball down the field.
That's right.
Real Muto lines that one foul, 0-2. One more look at the home run.
I mean, when you look at it almost literally, I mean, where the pitch was coming in as straight as it was with the velocity and the swing of Anderson coming right back through the middle of the field. I mean, it's just like this young man makes turning 97 around look easy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Absolutely does. And for anybody who is keeping him out of the discussion for Rookie of the Year because of the lack of home runs, well, he's hit a couple. He's up to 6 on the year. He's hit a couple in the last 2 weeks, and he's doing everything else. I know the kid that the Nats have is a special player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but boy, oh boy, what a first half for Brian Anderson. He has closed the gap to 2 here in the 8th. On the ground to Rendon. Low throw, but dug out by Adams. One away in the 8th.
Things don't seem so festive in the ballpark right now.
They don't. Things have certainly quieted down here.
Yeah. I was at a playoff game there for about 3 or 4 innings, and justifiably. I mean, as the offense roared back to life. But I'll tell you, the Anderson home run just kind of put everybody back in place. Everybody kind of looking at this game more like, okay, who's going to be able to get the outs and see if the Marlins can tie this thing up?
Well, I mean, at this point, no matter which team loses the game, it's going to be a tough loss.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a great win, whether it's the Marlins having blown a 9-run lead and then coming back from 14-9 to win somehow, or if the Nationals erased a 9-0 lead and then blew a 14-9 lead. Big day for that man. Trey Turner, 8 RBIs. 4 strikes out for the second out.
Good look at the changeup from Herrera. A couple of fastballs to get ahead.
Well, way back in the second inning when the Marlins scored 6, Martine Prado connected on a 3-run home run. His second at bat off the disabled list. Looking for a 2-out hit, or at least a way to get on base with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. We'll take Lowe 1-1. Black, and it's 1-2.
Well, there was a time not too long ago. I would have been surprised if I would have seen 3 sliders out of the hand of Tobin Herrera. He's got that as part of the arsenal now.
Swung on and missed. That's kind of what we've been used to. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but a 3-run homer for Brian Anderson has made this one 14-12. Of a 4-game series between the Marlins and the Nationals. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth, Jessica Blaylock. Some Marlins fans in town. They were happy at the beginning. They weren't so happy in the middle. And they're getting a little happier now. It's a 2-run deficit, but Dylan Peters will face Bryce Harper to lead things off, and that is ball 1. Harper, Adams, and Murphy due up for the Nats. Second inning of work for Peters. First time. The first inning, rather, the first batter he faced was this man, Harper, and he set him down on 3 pitches. It's now 2-0. Both teams with 12 hits. Two and two. Harper today 0 for 3. Turner's got 3. Soto's got 2. Adams has 4. Michael A. Taylor with 2 hits. The count runs full to Bryce Harper. And a leadoff walk here in the 8th. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, tonight's game coming to a close here in D.C., but we've got 3 more games coming up at Nationals Park this weekend. Tomorrow night, Dan Straley will face off against South Florida native Gio Gonzalez. We'll have that for you on Fox Sports Florida. Then on Saturday, FS1 will have you covered as Wei-Yin Chen takes on Nats ace Max Scherzer. The series finale will take place on Sunday with Trevor Richards on the mound for Miami. Tanner Roark will get the start for D.C. Guys.
Thank you, Jessica. There's Gio Gonzalez right there. On the ground, foul. Hialeah native, Gio Gonzalez. He's been good in his career against his hometown club. A 1.85 ERA in 16 starts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He's been scuffling a little bit here of late. I'll tell you who hasn't been scuffling, Matt Adams.
Well, that may change. There's Rojas. Runs down Harper, who is now stuck in a rundown. They got Adams. Rojas has it, and he did tag the leg of Harper.
Well, this was run seamlessly until the end. Yeah, Harper able to draw more throws, apparently because of the speed. Tell you what, he made the play at second base. This would have backfired had Rojas not laid out. I'll tell you what, everything to that point was fantastic. Ideally, you want to get Harper going back towards first base. Looks like Miggy Rowe is okay.
Going to go ahead and score that a 6-3-5-6 double play.
That's it?
I think that was it. Yeah, it wasn't a full phone number or zip code for that matter, as Murphy lines one out to center field. Well, that's 10 double plays turned by the Marlins in the last 4 games, but they need 2 runs.
courtesy low fares, nothing to hide. By Kubota. For information or to find a Kubota dealer near you, go to gokubota.com. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Crazy game here at Nationals Park, and it heads to the 9th inning. Marlins had a 9-0 lead. 14 unanswered runs by the Nats. And then a 3-run home run from Brian Anderson. But they are running out of outs against a guy who has been just about perfect this year. 21 of 22 in save opportunities, Sean Doolittle.
Yeah, last 13 games, 11 for 11 with a .61 ERA. 14 strikeouts, no walks, 5 hits allowed over 14 and 2/3 innings. 4-seam fastball, and you will see a lot of it. Changeup and slider. He's throwing the 4-seamer 90% of the time. It's what he likes to do. Loves to elevate. Tries to give you that little vertical look. You see him down in the zone, but when he wants to put you away, he likes to climb the ladder.
Cameron Maybin chops one left side. Turner with the jump throw, and it's a little off the mark. Maybin is aboard to lead off the inning. Be a base hit for Cameron Maybin.
Now the wheel's on display for Maybin. Turner does everything in his power to try and make this play. Even just too fast.
Well, Maybin came in hitting .313 with a home run his last 6 games. He's made a bid for a couple of hits tonight to that left side.
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, at least in my opinion, denied a couple of hits. Robbed, if you will.
Well, the Marlins have the tying run at the plate now in the person of Miguel Rojas. Takes a called strike.
Well, in so many ways, when you go up against Doolittle, this is what it becomes about. You against his fastball, the ability to pick it up early, see it early, and get a good swing on it. As we mentioned, he throws 90% 4-seam fastballs, does throw hard, 94, 96 miles an hour. 44 strikeouts this season have come on that fastball. He didn't throw many. There's one right there. Changeup. The 33rd he's thrown this season.
And ahead of Rojas, 0-2. Rojas had a base hit back in the 3rd. Before, a little out of the zone, 1 away.
Now, part of the game plan is to get to that. He likes to elevate. 2 strikes and does once again.
So the pitcher spot due up. It'll be Brian Holliday off the Marlins bench. Going to check on Maybin over at first. A little low. 1-0. The only other position player for the Marlins is JT Riddle. He was originally in the starting lineup today, but was taken out. Had 3 hits yesterday, including a home run. Accounted for all the Marlins runs yesterday, but on a slide later in the game, kind of aggravated his hip a little bit. Woke up today, it was kind of stiff. He's taken out of the lineup as Holliday sends one out to right center field. This will be Taylor for out number 2. And the Marlins are down to their last out. But it's one of their hottest hitters, Starlin Castro. I think if you could handpick who you'd want in this spot, it would either be Anderson or Castro, the way he's been swinging.
Yeah, right. And if you're going over, just one game or two games, looking for a little bit more evidence, I'd go with Castro. He has been on fire.
One is foul away, 0-2. It's been a rough few weeks for the Nationals, as they came into this game having lost 18 of 24. They held a team meeting after yesterday's loss. They fell behind 9-0 before scoring 14 runs. And this one not over yet. Right back up the middle. Doolittle to the dirt. And Castro is aboard. The go-ahead run comes to the plate.
My goodness. You talk about Doolittle and the game plan, right? So he's going to try and elevate. That's elevated at 96. Starlin all over it. Starlin tried to take a day off. Picked up a multi-hit game. Why not? This is his 8th multi-hit game in his last 11.
Is that good?
He will not be denied, even when he comes into it, even when he takes the first 7 innings off.
And now it's Dietrich. Started this game with a base hit back in the first inning against Jeremy Hellickson. There's been some back and forth since then, to say the least.
Any surprise the tying runs are on base, the go-ahead runs in the box?
The way this game's going, not at all.
Absolutely not. Let's get you some splits. Dietz, 3 home runs against lefties this season. .258 hitter.
He's got 11 home runs. 6 of them have been go-ahead or game-tying. You'd love a home run, but you'll probably take a base hit to get to Anderson.
Now remember about these gaps. I told you about them. He finds one. Starlin Castro should have a chance to score from first if he can find that gap. Pulling him straight up and over. Just a little bit to the offside.
The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And the Nationals battle all the way back from 9-0 down to win this one 14-12. As they end their 5-game losing streak and get back to 500 in the opener of this 4-game series. Back to wrap it all up, the Marlins Live post-game show on the other side of the break.